been charged with killing Andrew Latouche and Abiola Noel in February 2016. Prosecutors had relied on a witness who claimed she saw the men threaten the couple before the shooting. But defense attorneys produced a statutory declaration in which the woman admitted she fabricated the story to protect her boyfriend from a firearm charge. Prosecutors challenged the declaration but conceded it would be unfair to use her statement without her present for questioning. Now, those were your 6 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at the top of the hour, right here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network.
Watching CNC3.
That's right. Beautiful insight there into our...
Oh shit. Decision. Sorry.
Well, beautiful insight there into our city as we get the ball rolling on this Thursday, the 2nd of April, 2026. It's going to be a long, extremely long weekend. We hope that all is well and that you plan and sort yourself out accordingly. And within all the festivities and the check-in friends, and probably some might even go to all the activations and happenings around the place, there is a moment for reflection on this long Easter weekend. It's one of major significance for Christians here at home and far removed. And indeed, it's going to be a great one. So here's hoping you have yourself a tremendous and restful long weekend, but we got a show to do. We are here today to treat with the Morning Brew. I'm going to go through the headlines and go through some of the pace that's in store for today. And remember, from 7:30, Ian Wason steps in for the morning shot. See you soon. It's your Morning Brew. That's right. Running in. Jason Williams signing on this morning. Welcome one and all. It's going to be a great show ahead. Lots to treat with. What a full moon last night. And speaking about the full moon, when we get to the brief in a few, you will see that some astronauts went up yesterday to do their rounds around that most beautiful and pristine full moon we had last evening. So we'll get to that. But we head to the front page and see what's happening via the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian and with what's happening at the hospital. Remember, we've been talking about this for the entire week. It's been one of the hot stories. Well, the latest is new nurses on board. Government begins recruitment of medical professionals amid ongoing protests affecting patient care at Mount Hope. Well, a twist in the tale. So I guess they're saying to the current nurses who are protesting and walking out that, listen, or let's stay outside in the hot sun. We'll get some new folks on board, and will that all go well? Do they have the experience? What's going to be the overall work environment and the energy within the space? I can only imagine. And look at that. That's like real nurse outside, you know. This is becoming. It's getting to a kind of critical, particular place, and I hope whatever's the outcome, it's a positive one. Because the nurses, we must respect their particular profession and vocation. Yeah, they are a lifeline as it pertains to the health infrastructure. And I really hope they can sort this out as soon as possible, and everyone could feel at ease with whatever the decision is. And I hope there is a lot of listening going on, because there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of pulling and tugging, but there needs to be a calming voice in the midst of all of this, and there needs to be resolution, and I hope it happens soon. So we pray for that going into this Easter weekend. I'm watching this development where a witness would have fabricated evidence, lied well, based on what we're seeing here, 10 years of this man's life, 10 years. That was literally the story just now inside our news recap there after 6. I mean, what is that? And I wonder if there's going to be any kind of litigation towards the state based on the fact that from 2016 to current day, well, I mean, clearly the crime took place in 2016, and these young men, Sion, or I think it's Sean and Olatunji, so it's Olatunji Benbow and Sion Barneswell, yeah, they were acquitted, freed of murder, leaving there with a whole legal team yesterday. And again, it brings to the fore evidence or fabricated evidence based on what I'm seeing with the case, and will there be any kind of legal ramifications for the person who would have basically, well, based on again what we're seeing here, told a whole Nancy story, So I'm baffled, but at least there is some justice, because if it's one thing you see to be set up, to be put in place, to be incarcerated, your liberty is gone, and you're sitting down there, and you know you were nowhere close anyway how involved in the particular crime you're being convicted of. That's probably one of the most heartbreaking and daunting scenarios that any human being could go through. So if you want to read more and get some clarity on the story, you can check it out inside The Guardian on page 6. Well, I could safely say that some investigations were in place, and the DPP is giving the go-ahead to charge someone who was of interest in the cricketers' murder, the young lady from Cedras, Rashmi, a matter of fact, who had a grand send-off, and that should not even be the case. She should still be here. The fact that, you know, you're there with somebody you know, liming, having a time, and then she is found unresponsive, dead the next morning by her brother in the quiet Cedras community. It really shattered everyone there, and I'm glad that they were able to do their due diligence, and well, I guess whoever is the person of interest will now have to go before the system and face charges. That story on page 9. And coming out of Shogunas, the mall vendors evicted. That's another story here on the front page. That story is on page 8. I know Shogunas and folks vending, it's been part of the Shogunas main road, part of the fabric of Shogunas for many years. As to why, as to how this went down, you can get all the details today, page 8, inside The Guardian. Champions League action on the back page. Women's Champions League, and Bayern Munich, they march on, beating Manchester United yesterday, 2-1. It's a comeback, really, for the girls from Munich, and they march on to the semi-finals. And on the cricket side, the Silver aiming for CWI title, looking to kind of end our drought in that regard, focused on changing regional fortunes of the Red Force. Also, for those who like the track and field and follow the next generation, Carifta is happening this weekend, so we wish Team Trinidad and Tobago the very best going into the Carifta. And as per usual, other sporting developments here. There's a nice recap of all the teams that would have crossed over the line this week to make up the 48-team World Cup, the biggest, the most expanded, the largest tournament in the history of the games. So, yeah, congrats. I mean, Iraq is there now. You have teams like Sweden coming over the line very late. Italy, they're out. Jamaica, I mean, come on. This was a real interesting campaign. I really would have loved Jamaica to be there to join Curacao, but it's unfortunately not going to happen this time around. And I guess we all sit back and take in the World Cup, and everybody will have their particular team, support their team, and, you know, we could definitely have our little, you know, World Cup conversation closer to that time, because I know we normally bring lots of extensive coverage. Let's head now to the brief. As mentioned, the full moon from last night. Well, some astronauts were able to see it in real time. That's right, historic journey to the moon. This was all over the social media and mainstream media yesterday. They took off from Florida, and yeah, made their journey around the moon. Humanity's first lunar voyage in more than half a century, And it was a thrilling lead-off to what NASA describes as their push towards landing on the moon in about 2 years. So that beautiful full moon, I guess these astronauts will be forever changed. I could only imagine going up there, seeing the moon so close, looking back at the planet and recognizing how small we are. Literally, we're small, when they go up there, we be fighting them down here. People figure they're bigger than life, big and large and in charge. We're really small when we really expand and look at this particular, the galaxies then. And I don't get into that kind of, discussion per se. I know there are people very versed with that, but I could only imagine the further you remove yourself from the earth and you look back, you'll realize that, hey, we're small. So, not saying we have to act small or carry on in a small way, but folks who act like they're larger than life, we have to sometimes take it down. And for these astronauts, I don't know them personally, but I cannot imagine any human being taking that voyage, going so high up, looking back. You must come back changed. There must be some kind of movement within your spirit and some kind of shift within your mindset with that kind of voyage. So really happy for the astronauts. And I know ultimately the plan is to have us regular citizens go up, take them space journey. That's what these big boys are trying to plan out. Would I take it? I'm not too sure. I know it will be something rather expensive, and I could only imagine the G-force going up there, the toll it might take on you, but hey, we're in interesting times. We are in definitely interesting times. Let's get ready for the Business Guardian recap. The breakdown is coming up next. Anthony Wilson joins me. We're going to have, of course, a matter of fact, is Peter Christopher today. Oh, nice. Peter Christopher is in the mix. Anthony got I would imagine not only the day, but probably the weekend off. So Peter steps in for your Business Guardian breakdown. See you soon.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services. We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance. But we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, in Devashagonas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon. Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Period nights don't have to look like this. Move less, wake up to change. So change for a real night's sleep with Always Overnight. Its 3 times protection system absorbs, locks the fluid, and keeps it away from your skin. For protected nights without leaks. Always.
Alejandro, you're still alive. Mr. Alejandro! Mrs. Lucia! Mrs. Lucia, come quick, Mr.
Alejandro! My goodness! You're so... Sophia!
Don't miss the gripping drama Cabo. Sundays at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
Name something people stick their noses into.
I'm going to say, into the oven.
This game is going to hell. Stick your nose in the oven.
producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
Well, welcome. It's Thursday, and Thursday we treat with the business guardian, business journalist Peter Christopher joins me on the Zoom line. Peter, good morning to you, and let me extend a warm Easter, a long weekend. Greetings to you, and hope you have yourself a restful and reflective one.
Good morning, same to you, and a happy Holy Tuesday to you and Trinidad and Tobago, and all the best to everyone heading into the Easter weekend. And some people might already be into the festivities. Of course, school is on vacation, so people will be planning their family outings and such, I would expect.
Of course, Pete, great to see you as always. Now let's treat with the front page story. I'm seeing here some developments as we go through page 5. Ramdeen, that's the NGL chairman. He plans to probe Phoenix Park Gas Processors Limited U.S. acquisitions, and I'm seeing here, he laments some losses. And what's really the takeaway from this particular development? This is Andrea Perez-Sobers. That's on page 5.
Yes, of course, a couple of weeks ago, TTNGL would have paid out or said that they were going to pay out dividends to shareholders for the first time in 3 years. When the center of that, the TTNGL chairman, Joe Ramdeen, pointed out that there was a US $154 million loss incurred by Phoenix Gas Processors for the last couple of years, and he plans to investigate that. As you alluded to, the center of that has been an acquisition by Phoenix Park, which dates all the way back to 2020 of Twin Eagles Liquid Marketing LLC, a Houston-based company that trades natural gas in Canada, US, and Mexico. And it's had, mixed fortunes in the last 5 years. It was acquired just before COVID, the COVID-19 pandemic. They had some positive years, they had some negative years. I think they were also central to a $1.5 billion loss that was reported around 2022, 2023, which was a goodwill impairment as it was reported then. But Mr. Ramdeen, having argued that the shareholders, the public who have invested in TTNGL and have been expecting returns, would want to know what has exactly happened and why they have not seen the returns that they would have expected from TTNGL, with Twin Eagle being the center of that probe, as reported by Andrea Perez-Sobers.
Indeed. Watching a couple of other developments here, and as we head south to Venezuela, Venezuela's reopening signals opportunity for TNT's LNG sector. I'm seeing that lots of some of the sanctions and the restrictions on the now, well, I guess she's confirmed president, acting, whatever is the particular title there, Delcy Rodriguez, kind of loosening up on some of these restrictions and some of the stumbling blocks that would have been there. Will this signal, clearly this is what, good news for Trinidad and Tobago?
It is definitely good news for Trinidad and Tobago, because some of our trading partners in the energy sector, most notably Shell, have been actively negotiating with the Venezuelan government, with focus on the Dragon gas deal, which they have a majority stake in, or significant stake in, I should say. So there have been recent reports coming out of the United States. Reuters reported yesterday that Shell has been actively negotiating not just for the Dragon gas deal, which they plan to have a final investment decision on this year, but also 3 gas fields in Venezuela that they plan to utilize and send that gas to Trinidad and Tobago, which would be good news for our Atlantic LNG plants, which have been kind of short of gas supply. And that would bring good business to Trinidad and Tobago in the energy sector. It would improve our gas producing capacity, which is the news that the energy sector has been waiting on for quite a few years. Of course, we've seen Train 1 at Atlantic LNG shut down because of that limited gas supply and lack of activity. So getting that gas supply from Venezuela, if it is true Shell's activism at this point, is definitely good news for the sector.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that as early as 2027, there can be some movement, I guess, once all goes well with the acting president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez. Let's look at this CARICOM development, Peter. In the time that remains, I'm seeing CARICOM not delivering on its promises, and there's a suggestion here by Professor Patrick Watson that TNT, U.S. will treat TNT with contempt. I know there's lots of discussions and perspective concerning CARICOM's position, where we are with CARICOM, our relationship with the U.S., and how that is impacting the working dynamics between our Caribbean neighbors. What's your takeaway from this story on Business Guardian, page 6?
Well, that's a story by Raphael John Lal, one of our freelance contributors, and it really looks at, the balancing act that the government needs to have in terms of diplomacy with CARICOM, while also trying to maintain their stance with the United States government. They have been trying to, toe the line with the United States and stay in line with the United States policies. But what is being argued by Professor Watson is that by taking this stance, they are potentially kind of alienating their CARICOM neighbors, and that potentially could affect our trade relationship with these countries, and CARICOM is a significant trade partner, as well as their job opportunities through the CSME and such. So it could affect the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So he's urging caution in terms of the approach being taken by the government with regard to how we try to implement our support of U.S. policies, while also weighing the fact that we are still very much a significant player in the CARICOM market.
Peter Christopher, as always, a sincere thanks for bringing the Business Guardian to the fold. As per usual, you and the team have yourself, as mentioned, a great long weekend, and we'll do it again next week. All the best.
Yes, and I wish all of Trinidad and Tobago a safe Easter weekend. Be safe on the nation's roads.
That's right. Business journalist Peter Christopher touching base. I'll get your copy of the Business Guardian today inside the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. Up next, we treat with Kitty Health. Dr. Darlene Harris joins for that very important conversation, and also to shed some light on Autism Awareness Day. Dr. Harris, up next.
For over 50 years, we served communities across Trinidad. But growth isn't about standing still. It's about choosing what comes next. Introducing Passad's The Food King Grand Market Barapo, a new standard for the South. The Grand Market is where community meets quality. Our newly launched Via Bakery offers our fresh breads and pastries that are made daily. From the spices that flavor your meals to the moments that bring families together. And when it's time to slow down, our cafe offers a place to pause, connect, and enjoy the moment. From fresh meats prepared with care to aisles filled with the choices families trust and prices that put people first. Every day, families trust us with the moments that matter most, the meals they share, the traditions they keep, and the memories they create. And that's a responsibility we carry with pride. Bigger, fresher, thoughtfully built. The Grand Market Barapo, because at the heart of everything we do, quality and value. That's our way.
Jason has watched every World Cup from here, but not today. Because he made all his purchases with Visa and won a trip to the FIFA World Cup 2026. Whoever uses Visa most wins. Pay with Visa.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Well, Dr. Darlene Harris is here with me, and we having it here, and then you could always right there, right? Yeah, just try to set up the angles here with the doc. I want to really thank her for being here, for taking the time to spend some of the morning with us. She's a pediatrician. Kitty Health is her particular, she's the founder of Kitty Health, and we are treating with Autism Awareness Day, and you work closely with families concerning, the well-being of their child, their pride and joy, as it were. And I could only imagine the work, having that particular moment, being able to bring awareness and clarity to families. I could only imagine, I hope and I trust it brings you lots of joy, Doc.
Yes, it does.
Yes. Well, welcome. Now, tell me some more about Kitty Health and how long now you've been able to set that up, and then we'll get into our discussion.
So Kitty Health has been established since 2019. Kitty Health really and truly is a child's health home. So what it really was created to be is the home for everything related to child's health. Not just the physical health alone. Yes, we see the coughs, the colds, but more so an area where parents can find evidence-based medicine along with a family-oriented environment, as well as practical solutions throughout their parenting journey. One of the things when Kitty Health was created is that we really wanted to create a community where parents can feel supported from birth to adolescence, because as a parent, and being a parent myself, you go through various stages from baby, primary school, secondary school, and the crazy adolescent period. And you definitely need the support along the journey. And it's not just about physical health, it's about their mental well-being, their emotional well-being, and just their overall health. One of the important things and the mantras of Kitty Health is that a healthy child is a happy child, and we're trying to really raise healthy, happy children to really be the adults for the future generations.
Well said, Doc, well said. When we consider autism, how does one determine the spectrum? Obviously, I know there are some where the autism is, I don't know, severe might be a strong word, but it's really, you could tell, and then there are others where you really don't know. How do you determine the particular spectrum somebody's on?
And Jason, that is a good point where, autism is not clear-cut. It's not black and white. You have a lot of colors in between. And that is why we have transitioned from the blue to the rainbow, because you have so many variations and diversity in presentation, where, as you said, they have the very severe forms where, they are totally maybe non-verbal, to the forms where they may just have challenges in socialization that you may not pick up till adolescence or even adulthood. So there's a great diversity when you look at autism, hence the term autism spectrum disorder. And one of the things we must realize is that no two children with autism are the same. And you have to treat them and their families on a very individual basis, because one of the things that we try to celebrate with autism is that each child has their own talents, right, and what they're good at. And that's one of the things with autism we tend to try to identify, and we try to harness along with managing the challenges that they may face.
And I remember interviewing a family in another place when I was doing a TV show back in the day, and the son, he presented, he was autistic, but his art, Dr. Harris, oh my goodness.
Amazing.
His art was, I mean, we're talking here masterpiece level stuff, you know, but he wasn't verbal. He wasn't talking, but he used to express himself through art. He was a creative, and I guess he would have found his way. And to me, I'm glad you raised that point to remember that within every particular challenge, there are indeed there are moments for triumph, and if you're able to harness that. And this brings me to the next point. How important is it to guide not only the child, but also the parent in this particular new space? Because I'm sure the learning curve for the parent, and you'll have to, it come like you treating with, is twofold, the child and having to let the parent understand, well, this is what we're working with.
Right. So yes, it's very important, because for the parent, it's just as challenging, because from diagnosis, they now have the responsibility of navigating the journey throughout their child's life, right? So one of the things that they do face first and foremost is the challenge of getting a diagnosis, and then what is the next step? You know, how do I get my child the necessary therapies that they need to thrive in this environment? So, as you said, it's not just the child that you nurture, and it's not just the child that you manage. You also manage the families and the parents as well. So it's a twofold experience.
Dr. Harris, what does the treatment entail?
So autism is not like many other conditions, like, you know, hypertension, diabetes, where you could write a prescription and send them off. Autism requires what we call a multidisciplinary approach. It requires a team of specialists that work together to really help this child and his family thrive. So the team, besides the pediatrician, of course, you would have a lot of other therapists involved. If it is, for example, the child has communicative concerns, you would want to bring in a speech and language therapist, an occupational therapist as well. And because they have some socialization concerns and some behavioral challenges as well, you may also want to have a behavioral therapist on board. Some children with autism also may have nutritional challenges, so you'll want to probably add on a nutritionist at some point. And really and truly, you can't have the discussion with autism but also bring in the discussion of education and schools. So the teachers as well is important, and trying to find an environment that the child can be included in. So it's not just, as I said, write a prescription, send them off, see them back in 3 months. It's really about a multidisciplinary approach, creating a plan that is individualized, because it makes no sense creating a plan that is not practical for the family and the child as well. So you really have to be in tune with each child and their needs before coming up with their management plan.
Dr. Harris, if there is no intervention, there's no knowledge within a family structure, and they seem to be a bit helter-skelter, could the autistic child damage themselves or damage others?
Yes, they can, right? Because one of the things, although not as often, we see is that they can have not violent, but aggressive tendencies, and they can hurt themselves as well as hurt others, right? But we try, thankfully, parents have been bringing in and expressing their concerns earlier, so we could address them earlier, so that we kind of preempt certain situations.
From your experience being in the field as a medical professional, also looking at the empirical data, are we making headway in Trinidad as a culture collectively? Are we more in tune with autism? Is there more a deep understanding? Are people kind of coming on board? Where are we at this point in time, from when you started to now?
Definitely, Jason. I'm sure when we were growing up, right, we would have heard, you know, autism was not a term that was very commonly used. We would have heard that, you know, they just hard head, they're not listening, you know, slow, you know, things like that is the terms we would have heard growing up. And what we have seen is definitely a bit of a paradigm shift, where it's more of a case of awareness. That was the first step we would have definitely seen, where there was a lot of educational campaigns trying to bring awareness to the condition. And now we have actually embraced the next step, where the next step is now acceptance and really trying to create inclusive environments, not just in families, but also in schools, at workplace, in communities. And that is now where the work lies, really trying to create inclusive communities. And one of the things and one of the steps we need to take in creating that is definitely trying to make the services more accessible to parents and families, because that right now is one of the greatest challenges parents face.
Yeah, you know, it's true. It's always been here. It's just I guess the understanding or lack thereof.
Yeah, you're correct.
You know, we really didn't know, and that something have a child in the back of a class, not recognizing that probably this child would have needed some kind of intervention.
And then the teacher just leave them there, not really, you know, bringing any sort of attention to it. But we have made a lot of headway in Trinidad, I think. We do have a lot of room and a lot of homework still to do. And I hope that with each year, we really, really continue to make strides with this.
Dr. Harris, what are some of the early signs, the red flags parents could look out for? You know, you're observing your child, you're watching your child's development, and something seems a little bit out of the ordinary. What you're looking for exactly?
So honestly, it could actually have signs within the first year.
Within the first year?
Within the first year of life, yes. One of the greatest and the most marked one I tend to find that is a red flag in the first year is lack of smiling. So usually a child will smile off the bat from 2 months, you know, but you have kids who 4 months, 6 months, the parents barely getting a smile, barely getting a crack.
And they try no kind of
And I was now going to say that. All kind of antics. And what that really is a sign of is impairment in social emotional reciprocity, where you know you're trying to interact with the child and you're not getting any sort of response, and then that progresses into other socialization issues and concerns, where simple things as, you know, around 9 months they learn to clap, wave bye-bye. You're not really getting that much, right? The other thing too is that of communication, where communication is not just talking and words, but definitely the development of their receptive language. Simple things as responding to their name. You know, you're calling them and it's like they're not even hearing you, to points where parents actually present thinking that the child may be deaf, but it's not that. It's actually signs of poor receptive language development and things like following commands. And then we move on to things like even speaking and the development of their language and words. Those are usually before year. So that is one of the earliest signs that you tend to see. And then as we move on to the 1 to 2 year age group, things like bringing to share, wanting to play, what is their interaction like? And then the development of repetitive behaviors. You will start to see sensory concerns. Do they have really poor, like bad reactions to loud noises, putting their hands over their ears? You know, is it that they're very sensory? Things like that. So even before they turn 2, there are concerns that can be seen at home. But what I tell a lot of parents is that you see the parental instinct, that is something you can't ignore. From the time you feel that there's a concern for your child's development, you raise it with your pediatrician so that developmental surveillance can take place.
But you know, you're saying that to me, Doc, and I'm thinking that parental instinct, for those who, is something you can't teach, and it's something that I trust and hope that all parents are able to find within yourself, because there are some who might see a child responding in a certain way and might feel the child hard-headed or hardened and want to rough up the child, now not recognizing that there might be a deeper issue.
That is very true.
Because you're seeing that, and I see, imagine, you know, the people might actually think the child being, you know, ignoring them or whatever.
Rude. Rude.
And want to rough up the child. And
our Caribbean sense, you get too lash. But no,
you can make it worse.
Exactly. You can make it worse. And definitely for a child that is less than 2, you know. And it's not, what I will tell parents, you look at it over a space of time. This is not something that would happen one day. You know, it's something that is happening continuously over months. And then it can't be that the child rude every time. It has to be that there may be an underlying concern.
As we look to wrap things up, Doc, for those who want to continue this conversation with you, they can find you online?
So yes, we are definitely online. We are definitely on both Instagram and Facebook at kiddyhealth_TT. You can visit us in office as well. We're just on Herbert Street right there in St. Clair. Or you can just give us a call, 788-6157. And we are always ready just to help, just to guide, just to support parents along their journey.
Dr. Darlene Harris, it's been a great conversation. Let's continue this. Let's keep it going. It can't just be one a year, because this is an important conversation and learning curve for all of us. Stay plugged in. We're going to come back and treat with the Police and You. Officer Russell joins me next.
Is mealtime more of a chore than a cherished time? Does a lack of appetite keep your family, young and old, from getting the nourishment they need? Introducing Apetamin, the gentle, effective appetite stimulant designed for every age. Apetamin helps spark the natural desire to eat, turning hesitant nibbles into satisfying meals. Watch as food becomes exciting again, fueling growth, energy, and shared moments around the table. Give your body the gift of a joyful appetite. Find Apetamin in pharmacies nationwide.
Looking for a smart way to grow your savings? For just a limited time, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Credit Union is offering competitive fixed deposit rates of up to 4%. That's up to 4% guaranteed when you invest with PCU Fixed Deposit. Visit any of our locations in Barataria, Arima, San Fernando, or Tobago to get started today. For more details, visit policecreditunion.com or call us at 6124-PCU. PCU. Your future is safe with us. Looking for the ultimate gaming experience? Welcome to Phase 22 Gaming Lounge, where gamers of all ages come to play, compete, and have fun. Dive into your favorite games on PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or race on our high-tech racing rigs. And experience the thrill of VR with PlayStation and Meta Quest. Our lounge is safe, comfortable, and perfect for everyone. When you're done, check out the latest gaming systems, accessories, and even Samsung and Apple phones. Visit us on the second floor of Gulf City Mall or call 786-2404 to book your gaming session today.
In the ever-changing media landscape, we at Guardian Media strive always to put you, our viewers and readers, first.
We strive to uphold the time-honored tenets of responsible journalism.
For us, accuracy is key.
And in our reporting, we strive not only to be first, but fair,
impartial,
and to uphold journalistic integrity.
Above all, we are accountable to you, and we must respect the views of our audience. That is our solemn contract with you.
Keen attention to detail,
rigorous verification of facts,
use of credible sources, and sound editorial judgment.
Keep track of our editorial policies and guidelines, including our corrections policy, by logging on to www.guardian.co.tt for more.
पगड़ी ही उछाल दई देख बे के पहले हमारी आंखें काहे न बंद हो गई।
छोड़िए सब बात, आप दूध पीजिए।
Uteran. Love, secrets, and surprises. Watch Uteran weekdays at 6 p.m. on CNC3.
ESP Russell joins me for Police and You, another important conversation ahead. Let me extend Easter greetings to you, Officer Russell, and of course your family, and by extension, the men and women who make up the TTPS.
Thank you very much, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. On behalf of our Commissioner of Police, Deputy Commissioners, Assistant Commissioners, First and Second Division Officers of Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, we want to extend Easter greetings to you, Mr. Jason, and your family, and to all of Trinidad and Tobago. We trust that you have a safe, and I stress on the word safe, because I know We didn't. Most of us behaved ourselves last weekend, but there were still too many incidents.
Yes, true. And
too many loss of lives on the roadway. So we're hoping for a better Easter weekend. We will be out there, of course.
You'll have your presence?
Of course. Everything. Speed, roadblocks, etc. I don't want to divulge.
Of course,
But we definitely will be out there. Persons are still being held on DUI, Mr. Williams.
You can imagine, huh?
At this stage of the game, persons are still being held, and the Lenten period is about to be finished. So persons going back. Fast done. So some persons will be going back. So I'm asking persons to do what you have to do responsibly. Be that example. Drive safe, obey the rules of the nation's road, obey the laws of the land, leave the cell phone, leave the additional distractions, and just really, let's look out for one another over the Easter weekend.
Yeah, well said. And again, that reassurance that the TTPS will be out in the numbers for the extremely long weekend. Watching a development, we have a talking point to treat with, but I want to ask a question concerning the young men who were freed of a murder in 2016. It's coming to our attention now that one of the witnesses said they fabricate, and they will basically, will make up the story to protect somebody that was with at the time from some gun charge. I will see. So clearly, based on what we're seeing here, these men were inside, no reason. Right? They didn't do it. Of course, they were able to walk out of Hall of Justice yesterday. Can anything happen to someone? What's the procedure? How can one who lies to the system in such a dramatic way, impacting people's lives for years like that, are they dealt with accordingly? What happens in that regard?
What we would want to ensure, not other than what we would want to ensure, because lying under oath is indeed an offense. You're just going to the court and your falsehood is deliberate. Even within the police service, it caters for stating a deliberate falsehood. So there should be some repercussions coming out of this. It would have to go through its investigative stages, and it would have to gather certain information and evidential documents and statements, and maybe even the audio and the transcript of the proceedings before something could be done. But I hope that an example is indeed made, so that persons, because regardless of how your emotions feel, it's 10 years of somebody else's life,
Yeah, that's that. And 10 years you can't get back.
10 years you cannot get back.
Let me ask really fast. If you are taken to the station, you're a person of interest, could you withhold a statement? What's this situation? People go based on what they see with international TV, and I want my lawyer. I would imagine, does that particular precedent also work in Trinidad? What happens with a statement? Could you withhold a statement until somebody's there? At any point you are really forced to give a statement?
No, there is different. There's interview. And you could choose to answer, not to answer. You may want to choose the right not to give information that may incriminate yourself, number one. Number two, most importantly, a statement is voluntary. A statement is voluntary.
So you don't have to?
You don't have to. But we would have interviews and we would have other evidence, and you may want to start to give information or say certain things in an effort to probably show your innocence, or you may want to start to plea bargain as well if the evidence against you and your team is really overwhelming, and you see that there's a great chance of they securing a conviction against you. Some persons may choose to save themselves. However, a statement is indeed voluntary.
Okay, thanks for that. Just wanted to kind of get some clarity. Today's talking point: dangerous dogs. Not heard of any major incidents within recent time. I know there was a point where this was kind of all over the news cycle. What's the latest? I know there's legislation in that regard. What's the advice as it pertains to dangerous dogs? And the only reason people want a dangerous dog is really that sense of security based on the current climate and the crime that people feel. There's the great fear for crime, so you put a dog as a deterrent, really, so that if man come in the yard, well, they have to negotiate the dog before they get to you.
Well, let me say something. Let me correct you. One time, there have been incidents within the last few weeks. A gentleman, he was mauled by a pit bull. One. Two. About 2 Thursdays ago, a female went to exercise at Lady Chancellor. She too was attacked and bitten by a dangerous dog. So there have been incidents. Not all of them may have made. I know the one with the gentleman definitely made the news.
I remember that story, but I was thinking of the level where I know back in the day, I used to hear of people actually losing their life, which to me I used to find so heartbreaking now, because it's like, oh my goodness, boy, you can't imagine a dog could inflict such damage on a human.
Well, the thing about it is due to passerby and other bystanders and brave and heroic and Trinidadians who still had a love and care for each other, that persons didn't lose their lives in any of these incidents.
People intervene.
You know, persons intervene as well. And I've also received a lot of complaints from members of the public on other programs, and you know, speaking about the situation with respect to dangerous dogs, the pit bulls, the bull terriers, and they're called Class A dogs under the Act. Now there's 32, the Dangerous Dog Act 32 of 2000, and then there's the Dog Control Act, which kind of replaced 32 of 2000. The Dog Control Act is 2013-2014, based on how the amendments ran. And it creates certain offenses, like for instance, it's an offense, and it's hefty fines. I'll give you some of the fines just now. It's an offense to not secure your property when you have a dangerous dog. Do you know that when you have a dangerous dog, you must have insurance for that dog? No less than $250,000.
You have to have insurance for the dog?
You have to have insurance, and the dog must have a stamp, a serial number on it. You know, failure to do so is a fine of $75,000 and imprisonment for 3 years.
No, this is news.
You know, shucking your dog at somebody in an effort to intimidate is an offense. Having your dog on the roadway without a leash or a lead, as some persons may want to call it, is also an offense.
That's just for dangerous dog, not a regular, like not a let's say a Caribbean Shepherd.
Right. Now let me see. We're talking dangerous dogs, yes, which are listed in the Class A schedule of the Acts, right? However, if you have let me say you have a Pompek, and your Pompek bites somebody because you is a little dog and you didn't have it on a leash, doesn't that open you up to some civil culpability?
Well, you inconvenience somebody there. The dog wasn't really.
So it's in the dog owner's interest to do their due diligence. Persons are exercising and dogs are rushing them. Mandela Park, Queen's Park, Savannah, Lady Chancellor, so much so that I reached out to the senior superintendent of the Port of Spring Division, and I had a conversation with him concerning their situation so that he would have the patrols pay attention.
What you said when you reached out, because I guess the reports are coming in.
Yeah, but I told him of these numerous complaints, you know, that persons are complaining about, because, you know, Trinidad and Tobago seems to be on an upward trend when it comes to exercising and fitness. There are a lot of 5Ks, a lot of walkathons. We're seeing that uptick in persons taking that responsibility for their health. And I commend that, but they must be able to do so and enjoy it freely, you know, without dogs rushing them. And we've had numerous complaints about persons in Mandela Park, the Queen's Park Savannah, Lady Chancellor, and we understand the purpose of your dog and the security that your dog will assist you with. But remember, your dog is to assist you and not to intimidate other members of the public. You know, so you must have your dog muzzled all the time in public. And let me tell you some of the fines. So if your dog kills someone, a Class A dog, there's a fine of up to $100,000 and 5 years in imprisonment.
And so you will go to jail.
You will go to jail
if your dog kills someone.
Yes, a death caused by a dangerous dog, there's a fine up to $200,000 and up to imprisonment for 10 years. Then we have another one. Dog dangerously out of control, allowing a dog, a Class A or Class B, to be dangerously out of control, $50,000 fine and up to imprisonment for 1 year. Inciting a dog to attack someone, a fine of up to $50,000 and up to 2 years imprisonment. Failure to properly restrain or control a dog, not muzzling or keeping your dog on a leash, Class A dog, in public, fine up to $50,000. So imagine you taking your dog for a walk, and end up with a $50,000 fine.
Well, let me tell you, we'll stick a pin for now, Officer Russell. I want us to expand and continue with this definitely in a future broadcast.
Yeah, you learn something.
Yeah, it's some serious information pelted me here. I mean, I have no dog, I have no dog, but for those with the dogs, be mindful, be aware, get insurance for your dog, register your dog. You're hearing what's going on? Officer Russell, we have to run, we have to head to the news, but thanks as always and have a safe weekend.
And you're welcome. You have a safe weekend as well. And Trinidad and Tobago, we expect your best behavior this weekend.
Wow, this was a big learning curve today. I'll take the pause. We come back much more after 7.
Join us at the Trinidad and Tobago Disaster Risk Management Conference and Expo from June 1st to 3rd. Step into 3 full conference days of presentations, panels, and learning labs that mirror real disaster risk scenarios, including national power outages, disaster risk finance, and sustainable urban planning, waste and debris management. Register now at www.ttdrm.com/register now.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800 Trin or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800 Trin or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
Good day, Trinidad and Tobago. A safer nation begins with you standing up, speaking out, and doing your part. As your Commissioner of Police, I am prepared to do my part. Are you prepared to do your part? Get on board. Are you on board?
I am Bishop Ezekiel Clark, President of the Couva Police Station Community Council, and I am proud to say that I am on board with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service in their fight against crime in Trinidad and Tobago.
I am Panis Dean Gulston. And I am Panis Johan Chakri. And crime prevention is everybody's business.
Hi, I am Sajina Kadir, attorney at law and team lead for the attorneys for the TTPS Community Justice Clinic. We support the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service in the fight against crime.
Crime prevention is everybody's business. I am Shiraz Khan. I am a farmer. I support the TTPS in the fight against crime.
My name is Baldak Maraj, President of the Shagwanas Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Crime fighting is everybody's business.
We are all on board.
Time Check, brought to you by the Central Bank and the National Financial Literacy Program.
A very good morning, I'm Akash Samaru with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC radio network. In a move that seeks to modernize the justice system, the nation's courts will soon be empowered to impose jail time, followed by mandatory probation. Yesterday, the Senate commenced debate on the Probation Offenders Amendment Bill. The bill seeks to allow the court to sentence an offender to a term of imprisonment, followed by a mandatory probation. This is a departure from the traditional either-or approach where probation was typically used instead of jail time. In piloting the bill, Justice Minister Devish Maharaj said the split sentencing option is landmark reform, but he warned that if offenders violate their probation, they will not be spared.
We are saying we are giving you a chance, a second chance, come back out into society, do your rehabilitation, and you get a pass to come back out. If not, the court will once more intervene, and then you will have to serve that term inside.
Residents are calling for increased police patrols in Cypress Hills in Union Hall, San Fernando, as they report a rise in break-ins in the area. Police have since recovered a stolen television belonging to a police officer after it was found in an abandoned apartment in the community. Officers of the San Fernando CID made the discovery after acting on information and searching a unit in Building 32. The 42-year-old constable had reported his home burglarized on March 25th, with several items including the television, other electronics, and police-issued equipment stolen. Police fingerprints were recovered and an arrest is expected. And the PNM Deputy Leader Sanjeev Boodoo has raised concerns over the government's silence on allegations that Sangre Grande businessman Danny Guerra financed the UNC's 2025 campaign in the constituency. He also criticized Defense Minister Wayne Sturgis' lack of response on the matter, describing his silence as troubling. Addressing questions about the PNM's record in office, Boodoo says the party had pursued Explain Your Wealth legislation as a means of tracking illicit funds, but argues campaign finance reform has become urgent in light of the allegation.
You all put the man in jail, saying that he is the leader of an organized crime group. You all put him in jail, saying that he was involved in an assassination attempt or a plot to assassinate a sitting government minister. You all did that. He is now deceased by an assassin's bullet in broad daylight in Toko Sangre Grande. That is the basis upon which we are calling for campaign finance reform.
Well, those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC Radio Network.
Johansi IODK inside this second hour on a Holy Thursday. Welcome again. Let's get into our mental health matters. Johansi, we are treating with thought-interrupting cliches.
Yes.
Really interesting one. I have my pen in my hand here. I want to take some notes and of course, happy Easter greetings to you and your family.
Same to you, Jason, and same to everybody listening and viewing. All right, so a thought-interrupting cliche. So a cliche is an overused term which is used to oversimplify things. So let me say something difficult and you really want to deal with it, you'll just say, well, it is what it is, right? Now, it's thought-interrupting because sometimes we use it to interrupt critical thinking. So instead of trying to sit and solve the problem, we just say it is what it is. Or sometimes we even use biblical terms. Well, that is God's plan. But the truth is that I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, it's true. I mean, it is a defense mechanism. It's a way to put a full stop on something you really want to advance.
Now, depending on how you use it and how much time you use it, what it can do is give you a false sense of a resolution. So let's say, let's use a marriage or a relationship. Instead of dealing with your spouse or dealing with your partner, you say, well, that's just how men is, or that's just how woman is. So that's, again, an overused cliche, instead of dealing with what it is. And then 10 years pass and all, you never deal with the problem. Or you have a child and you see something, have an issue to deal with. But that is just how this generation is. That is just, so we use these terms to interrupt our critical thinking, which could lead to problem solving.
You think if enough time passed, because you said, you know, it might be a 10-year issue, but let's say you're able to function, there's a particular issue, Father Time is undefeated, some time passed. Should we go back in the archives? Should we rehash something that probably already kind of buried?
Well, buried sometimes means it still exists. Once it exists, it should be dealt with because it will always come up. Whether it is in a romantic relationship, business relationship, colleagues, family, once it exists and it is not resolved, it is always there. And that would lead to a lot of the mental breakdown, even in terms of, or interpersonal issues, even in terms of yourself. It have things about yourself. You know, I just give an example. You know you didn't prepare well, you didn't manage your time well, and you end up being late. And you say, well, it's best I do rushing more speed, less haste, or you say, well, maybe God was keeping me from something, but you know really you didn't put enough time in preparation.
You never late twice,
right? All kind of fancy sayings we have sometimes that we use as an excuse. Not saying that these sayings don't have validity at times, but it's how you use it.
Yeah. So if it's something you draw for all the time, it means that you really. It's almost like you're making excuses, basically. It's a fancy way of making an excuse.
Making excuses. Now, we could use it to make excuses, but we could also, for ourselves, and maybe for others, but we could also use it sometimes in a way, I would say in a more malicious manner, right? Let me just give an example. Let's just say you and this person having a conversation or a debate, and you just don't want to hear them. You could just say, like, we agree to disagree. That is not what I really mean, though. Let we agree to disagree mean that I consider you and you consider me, and we really go through the process and we really can't come to a resolution. But let's just say I just don't want to hear you. Whatever you say, I'm not going to do it either way, so let me just agree to disagree.
So you're saying that, so you're suggesting this morning that saying that is a good thing or a bad thing?
You see, all of these cliches is not good or bad. It's you being mindful how you use it.
Oh, it's when and how?
Yeah.
Timing.
Because what it could do, what it can do again, it could oversimplify a situation that need resolution.
Because I always say, and I say it on the program sometimes when I go back and forth with the callers, I mean, normally I would listen most times, but there are sometimes I would challenge some of the points being brought to the table. And if it gets a bit heated, I will always say, we could disagree, but we do have to be disagreeable.
Okay, all right.
Is that? I mean, that's kind of like, you know, because I mean, not people could never see the same point through the same lens. You will always have the varying opinions, and to me, that's what a great conversation is about. When somebody who's a different opinion, and you could trash it out, but then it tends to escalate, and then sometimes personal attacks will come in. And we in Trinidad and Tobago tend to, you forget about the point you're arguing, and you go in a whole next direction, and then, you know, it's
right. So then again, now you use that now.
I cannot do that to not get there.
And you see that's important, because again, it's how you use it. If you said you go back and forth with the person, which means you actually was listening to the person listening to you, so forth. But then the conversation started to devolve. Then you use it in that manner. And now cliche. All of these things, it become a cliche because it become overused, right? And again, how we use it. So let me give the mental health twist of it. If I happy this morning, and then you see me at lunchtime and I'm sad, here's an overused cliche. People say, you're bipolar or what?
Well,
right?
Yeah, people make their own diagnosis.
Right. And so things like that can become a cliche because everybody just use it however they want it. And I'm saying it that way because it's important to understand sometimes how you're using these things.
Could some of the cliches and our mama guy culture and these words really hurt somebody? Because you know we left a mama guy in this place, right?
You see, the touchy thing about that is that hurt somebody is still a personal thing, because being hurt is a decision, not necessarily what somebody could do to you. Because depending on who you are, no matter what somebody tell you, me really care what you're saying, right?
But tap into something that's truthful. You see, I think that's where the hurt comes from, you know, where someone might have a hidden insecurity, and if somebody really press that button, that is where you notice people activate when it's either somebody press a button of insecurity, or they come with an all-out lie. They're trying to throw something at you that totally far removed from your personality and your stance, and you're just defending it now because don't bring that to me. You're bringing that to me for.
All right, so
you come like you're telling me I in a swim, I in a trunks when I in a blazer, and boy, you tell you're mad or what?
Well, okay, and this might be a little unpopular. If somebody throw out something to you, right? Say the mama guy here, and you're offended by it because it is true. that is something for you to work on. I just give an example. So let me say, hey, you're wearing old shoes, or you're getting fat, boy, or how are you so skinny, or something like that. And you are negatively affected by it or offended by it, right? I'm not saying the person right for doing it, but if it is something like that, that means it's something for you to work on, whether you need to lose weight, whether you need to take care of yourself better, whatever it is, whether you need to study more, whatever it is you need to do for yourself, not to please the person, but that you are now armed, and this is part of even the mental health. You are now armed and comfortable with yourself enough that no matter what people come with, you won't be as affected by it. Again, I'm not saying the person right for doing it.
Yeah. Because people love to do that, you know, especially family. Oh, you're putting on weight. Look at, and it's like, oh my goodness, that's your welcome argument. That's your opening line.
But if you cool with it, oh God, you're putting on weight. Well, yeah, eating nice. If you understand what I'm saying, if you're comfortable, yeah, eating good, or why you're so skinny, and you could say, because I'm taking care of myself. If you understand, if you're comfortable, it's easy to come with something.
So my question to you, should one, because there are some people who are so witty, so I think there are people who really off the cuff, the spontaneous, they have the power of gab and they're good with their words, so they're able to go back and forth and sometimes spin it on you. But I wonder if there are people who mentally prep for if something comes their way, so they have a punchline to hit back. Now, you think there are people who do that you actually anticipate someone's cliche, someone's interruption, someone's offbeat remark, so that they hit your punchline, they hit you and you hit them uppercut one time verbally.
Yes, and what enables anybody to be witty is because you're comfortable with yourself. To be able to come back with an answer, you have to be comfortable with yourself, because if you're insecure, as soon as somebody tells you something, you will feel a negative emotion, so you wouldn't have time to think. So even being witty or even nonchalant and don't care is because you're comfortable with yourself.
Interesting. Very interesting, because we live in a real mama guy culture, you know. This Trinidad and Tobago, it's easier though, especially within the school system, and oh my goodness, that's a whole different conversation for a different day. You answer, you have the final say.
Nation, don't overcomplicate things. Don't use sayings in ways that will complicate your life, because even though life is not easy, it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening.
You want to say IODK with us, another most impactful conversation, Mental Health Matters Thursday. Up next, we get you ready for a tremendous conference. It's the Caribbean AML Hybrid Conference, Tech EML 2026. Details after the break.
Jason has watched every World Cup from here, but not today. Because he made all his purchases with Visa and won a trip to the FIFA World Cup 2026. Whoever uses Visa most wins. Pay with Visa.
Diamonds. Brilliant. Rare. Resilient.
Some stars are born to shine.
Born to shine.
This year, the stage will dazzle.
I am the music boss, the Diamond Edition.
Featuring the biggest Indo-Caribbean artists. Raymond Ramnarai. With a special guest, Indian Idol Season 14 winner, Vaibhav Gupta.
Hello Trinidad, I'm gonna join Raymond and I am the music boss. See you all on 11th April.
I am the music boss, the Diamond Edition. Saturday, April 11th at the COE.
Check online for ticket outlets or call 225-0391 or 798-1576.
The fact that they ask the questions, those challenging questions that no other media house would ask. To, shed light on those things that are in the dark, those stories that no one else wants to cover.
I grew up reading The Guardian, actually. It's a household name.
About The Guardian, one thing that I like, the human interest stories have increased.
See the investigative pieces on the human trafficking. I find that very interesting.
You go more in depth.
On sports, especially local sports, and that's one of my highlights for The Guardian.
Yeah, I've been in Ghats and The Guardian started coming out, started working. I was a newspaper man.
Could the stories that are being covered are well detailed and you get more facts.
Also, I think the editorials, I think they're doing a good job on this speaking the truth, and they're challenging the government to make things better.
Me in particular, of recently, in the last 2-3 months, I've been reading The Guardian. I'm seeing a lot of news about the neighborhoods and the communities, and I even saw my community featured, and I was proud.
The Guardian.
The Guardian?
Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian is my first choice.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Alejandra, you're still alive.
Mr. Alejandro! Mrs. Lucia! Mrs. Lucia, come quick, Mr.
Alejandro! My goodness! You're so... Sophia!
Don't miss the gripping drama Cabo. Sundays at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
I'm so dizzy. I think I'm gonna be sick.
Oh. Caleb, are you okay? Oh my God, are you all right?
Cal!
Jackson? Hey. What's wrong?
It's Caleb. He's like really...
Where is he now?
It's not far. Come on, I'll show you.
Lead the way.
Be sure to catch Sullivan's Crossing. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
Volleyball filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
Make sure you have yourself a great investment week by viewing The Bourse Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view The Bourse Report. CNC3, covering your world.
Is reliable, credible, and authentic. Thank you for trusting me to bring you the news. It's a privilege to be in your homes and hearts. With every story and every newscast, CNC3 is keeping you informed and inspired. When it comes to news, we are where you are.
Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too.
Yes, this is the life. Log on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Name something people stick their noses into.
I'm going to say, into the oven.
This game is going to hell. Stick your nose in the oven.
Alejandro, you're still alive.
Mr. Alejandro! Mrs. Lucia! Mrs. Lucia, come quick, Mr.
Alejandro! My goodness! You're so... Sophia!
Don't miss the gripping drama Cabo. Sundays at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
Tech AML 2026 and the Caribbean AML Hybrid Conference is the conversation ahead. We want to welcome the CEO of NEM Leadership Consultants, Nigel Matthew, and we also have with us Calvin Wilson. Calvin, of course, that's who's on the line right now. He's the Executive Director of the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force, and we have with us Nigel. Gentlemen, good morning.
Hi, good morning, JW, and it's always good to be on CNC3 to bring this very important information on the Tech AML Conference, which will be held on Thursday, April the 9th, 2026, Radisson Hotel, Rising Road, Port of Spain, Trinidad.
Fantastic. In that regard, let me ask you, who's your target audience? Who are you looking at to be there in attendance?
Well, the target audience, by law, there are certain sectors and individuals who have to comply with anti-money laundering, counter-financing of terrorism laws. So we're looking at the banks, we're looking at mortgage companies, we're looking at credit unions, we're looking at people involved in motor vehicle sales, real estate, people, certain accountants who provide certain functions, and of course attorneys at law. So in terms of our regulatory requirement, these are the people who have to comply and subscribe to AML conditionalities.
Indeed. Let me bring Nigel in. Could you tell me some more about yourself and NEM Leadership Consultants?
Well, Nigel Matthew, I'm the lead consultant with NEM Leadership Consultant. It's a hybrid leadership and management practice. We have been in business since 2011. And we have been providing assistance to organizations in terms of organizational development and effectiveness. And one of our suite of products is in the area of anti-money laundering services, hence the reason for the 13th edition. So it's 13 years now we have been having this annual conference, and it has morphed into a global arena whereby we have international speakers, we have people tapping in from all over the world into our conference.
Indeed. I want to thank you so much. So let me bring our next guest in the fray. How does the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force fit in to the conference? We want to kind of really get some, all the moving parts on how it's going to shape what's going to happen next Thursday.
Okay, well, good morning to everyone, and thank you for the invitation. Can I just make one small correction?
Yes.
I'm not the current executive director of the CFATF, the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force. I'm the immediate past executive director.
Thank you so much for the clarity. I appreciate it. Yes, indeed. So your role and function next week, walk us through it and what you anticipate will be the greatest takeaway for those in attendance.
Well, for me, I'm one of the speakers. My presentation will canvass cross-border challenges in building a consistent culture of AML CFT compliance And so it means all the people who Nigel invited and who normally attend the conference, they would be informed as to what the lay of the land is in terms of the compliance architecture in the Caribbean, as well as globally, because we aren't operating in a silo, just in the region or nationally, say in Trinidad and Tobago. We are operating within a global context. And so it's important to have this international dimension as to what's happening across the world. And what's happening across the world at the minute is extremely fascinating. And it impacts the global compliance architecture in a considerable way. And so as the FATF is the global standard setter for AML-CFT matters, we have to wait and see what they are going to say in terms of all the geopolitical, geoeconomic, and geostrategic developments globally, and see what they say should be done by the countries around the world, 207 countries around the world, who are the AML-CFT, FATF, FSRB network.
Indeed. Well said indeed. And I recognize, Nigel, that it's hybrid, so there will be the in-face and, human component, and then there will obviously be others who will join in online. Is that the structure?
Yes, definitely. That's the structure, because we realize that many people in the Caribbean, and of course outside of the Caribbean as well, would like to attend, but in terms of travel difficulties. So they can tap in virtually and participate in the conference. And of course, people can also attend in person. And as I said before, it's at the Radisson Hotel, right in Port of Spain. So we have that blend, and they will benefit from all the different type of sessions. I know Calvin called out one in terms of his topic being cross-border challenges in building a consistent AML culture. We also have the role of the boards and senior management in shaping AML culture. We also have leveraging AML technology, AI risks and guardrails. So it's a packed agenda in terms of that one-day discourse. So we encourage all those stakeholders, those what we call reporting entities, to register if you haven't done so as yet. There are just few seats left with respect to the in-person audience.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. It's been a tremendous conversation. Nigel, all the best to you, and Calvin, I know it will be a great success. Where can we go for information online?
Information online, you can go into NEM Leadership Consultants website.
Yes.
Or you can call us on 222-8928, or you can WhatsApp us on 383-7703, and we will send you all the links so that you can register and be part of the discourse.
Thank you so much. All the best. As always, we bring you great information here every single day. And up next, we're going to transition to the morning shot with Ian Wason stepping in for that in-depth look at sport. All the best, TNT. Have yourselves a great day. Ian, up next.